Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, and you know I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. It's all about understanding the blueprint, your personal blueprint for life, and learning how to navigate that and live according to it. So, let's talk about this blueprint that is Jupiter or astrology, which is Jupiter retrograde. I want to talk a little bit about that with you all. Um, Thank you to all of the hashtag replay queens and to anyone who is new and watching my video. I am Tyra Omilade, your spiritual guide and coach. And one of the tools that I use to help women live in alignment with um, the cycles of their life is through understanding astrology. And so I want to talk about Jupiter retrograde. Where's Jupiter retrograde? First of all, Jupiter retrograde means that Jupiter is, according to our perspective, being here on planet Earth, it looks like it's moving backwards. And so whenever a planet is retrograde, that means that we have an opportunity to slow down and go back and pick up additional lessons, additional opportunities that the planet had brought to us heretofore, but maybe we need to go back and revisit them for some reason. We didn't catch it. It's we're not done. It can help us get some things done. Okay. Now you have to remember that Jupiter is retrograde for about 4 months out of the year. And so when a planet is retrograde that long, it doesn't throw off how our life operates, but it definitely is something that we want to be paying attention to because every planet is bringing a lesson. And Jupiter is always going to have somewhere where it gives us three opportunities to pick up a lesson. Always. Jupiter will always do this. And because it lasts for so long, then it helps us to, just really learn the lesson. Okay. Now, Jupiter is wisdom. Jupiter is growth, is expansion, it's perspective. And Jupiter will expand anything indiscriminately. Hello, Chanel. How are you? It will expand anything. It doesn't matter if it's good, it doesn't matter if it's bad, but it helps to expand and just really give an increase of some sort. Okay. So Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus. I guess I can show y'all the chart. Where is my chart that I want to use? Do I want to use this chart? Hold on one second. So Jupiter is in Taurus. And I hate these ads. So yeah, Jupiter is down here in Taurus. Now I made a through the signs video for my YouTube membership. So I decided at first I was going to make the video for my YouTube membership. And then I thought, well, they have the through the signs video that I made and where I went into Jupiter in Taurus pretty extensively. So I decided to make this for the public part of my channel. So what you want to know though, just generally what is Taurus about? And the class is there. I invite you to join my YouTube membership so that you can watch the whole class. I go through the signs. But generally, this Jupiter being in Taurus, Taurus has to do with money. Taurus has to do with personal finances, money that you make. It has to do with manifestation. That's one of the reasons why I just keep going on and on and on about Taurus in, Jupiter in Taurus, because that can help us to really manifest a lot because Jupiter is also called the great benefic planet. And so it can bring a lot of abundance, a lot of blessings, opportunities. And Taurus is this planet that has to do with manifesting and abundance. It's the abundance of the earth. Okay. So Jupiter is conferring wisdom to us on how to manifest. Jupiter is helping us to better understand how to manifest. Jupiter is actually helping us to manifest with it being in Taurus. I said Taurus is about money, it's about personal finances. So Jupiter is going to be able to help with personal finances and money. Now, the thing that you have to remember about Jupiter is that, again, it's going to expand anything that's there. So if you are being responsible with your personal finances, Jupiter is going to expand that. If you're being irresponsible with your personal finances, Jupiter is going to expand that. So you truly want to take the time to make sure that you are doing things with your personal finances that you want to be expanded. Okay. That's on my toes. I wanted to do better with logging my expenses. And sometimes I do it religiously, and then other times I just get off. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, let me get back on that. Okay, so it's about, so it can expand our resources. So if you have had money topics come up since May, then you're going to revisit those same money topics. But Jupiter is bringing you the wisdom to know what to do. Okay. So if you took a class, if you learned from somebody who teaches about making money, managing money, personal finances, those kinds of things, then, maybe you're like, oh, I did buy that class. Maybe I need to go back to it. Or maybe maybe you set up some type of system that somebody taught you about and you're like, oh, I need to get back to that system. Right. Um, another thing would be maybe you took a class that had to do with manifesting, learning how to manifest using the law of attraction, truly understand what does it mean to manifest. And so Jupiter, it could have, is that class, is that teaching. And so with Jupiter retrograde, you may want to return to those teachings. This is definitely about resources, because that's what Taurus is about. It's about resources. It's even about the energy for your body, like food. And so, what you want to focus on is like, what's the most wise path? What path is going to take you in the direction of where you want to be? And so, with when Jupiter's retrograde, maybe there's something that needs to happen on the inside of you that will help you to go on ahead and do whatever, you're supposed to be doing with regard to money or resources in general. Okay. So you definitely want to be um, doing this internal work. It could be you need to maybe listen to that class again, read that book, and yeah. Jupiter is about these teachings. Maybe it's like you need to have a new perspective, a higher paradigm. And I'm going to tell you something else. Jupiter is about forgiveness. And so some of us need to do some forgiveness work, because then that inner work will clear us to be able to manifest, to better manifest whatever it is that we are working to manifest. Now, Taurus is about food. And so I encourage you to, maybe there's some wisdom about food. It's interesting now that I think about it, because I have gotten deeper into intermittent fasting. I've done intermittent fasting for years now, but had just, I would just fast for like 13, 15 hours a day. But because of me needing to do more self-care, I got some news about my health. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do this more. And so I started doing more fasting. I've been doing like 17, 20 hours a day. Um, and this all has happened since Jupiter was in Taurus. It was like I have to change so much about how I eat, have a new perspective on how I eat, a new paradigm. So a lot of us may have been having that come up since May, What are we doing around eating? It's self-care. Taurus is self-care. So what are we doing around that? Now, the kicker with Jupiter and Taurus is it can make you overindulgent. And so, that might be something that you have to kind of look at. Some people may be overindulging in sugar and sweet, fatty foods, and I don't judge any of those foods, but it could just be like too much of anything is not good. But it's just like, oh, I just want pleasure. So want to just be cautious around the overeating with Jupiter. The Jupiter retrograde might really bring it up, heighten it up for you, and you are being asked to make a wiser choice regarding what you're eating. And it's definitely about maybe having that understanding that self-care is essential because Jupiter is like very wise energy. And it's saying, Taurus, which is the sign about self-care, saying, hey, we need more of that. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you how you benefit when you have more self-care. Now, Taurus is also about worth and value. And with it being retrograde, there could be some opportunities that you need to revisit where you're like, you know what? I did not have good, my worth and my value, they were not where they needed to be. Or something took your worth and value away. And so now Jupiter in Taurus retrograde is going to help you to revisit what is it that you need to do to step fully into your worth and your value. Now it's also about values. um, what are your values? And Jupiter might give you perspective. I just did the new moon through the signs video for the membership. And one of the things I talked about is how people don't understand how important values are. They are so ingrained in us that a lot of us don't even understand that we are living according to our values moment by moment. And so, but if we would consciously make sure we're living according to our values, then it helps us to understand why we're manifesting or not manifesting what we want, why we're living the life we want, and why we're not living the life that we want. We have to understand that what you value, that's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to focus on. And so Jupiter retrograde in Taurus can help us to get perspective on our values and maybe help us to get more in alignment with that by seeing, okay, wait a minute, do I have the right values? One of the things I teach in coaching is when you want to manifest something you have never manifested before, it's important to talk to people or look at the lives of people who've manifested what you want to manifest and look at what they value. Whatever they value, those are the values you will have to adopt in order to get that very thing. The one thing that I like to talk about is, before the pandemic hit, I was teaching dance and fitness. And I would spend a large amount of time after my classes on Saturday in particular. And once I decided I am going to fully commit to my business, then I started telling everybody, all this time I'm hanging out with you all afterwards, I'm not doing it anymore. I would tell everyone, I've got to go home and work on my business. So, I recognize that the values that a business owner has, they focus on their business. They take time to focus on their business. They will spend time that they used to do other things doing to work on their business. My values shifted. So, you get to choose, you get to do that. Okay. So, Taurus, is also it's the sign that has to do with hoarding. So now actually something I didn't mention in the new moon video is it can deal with antiques. We got the hoarding and then we got the antique collecting part of Taurus. Okay. But I think Jupiter could be making us hoard a lot, but we might get some perspective like I got too much stuff. It might be digital hoarding. Who knows what this hoarding is, but it definitely is this sign that has to do with hoarding. And maybe some people will need to get healed up from their hoarding. And this retrograde will begin to help get healed up. Or maybe you'll just be like, oh my gosh, I have too much hoarding going on. Notice I'm not saying you're a hoarder. We don't want to use this word. I'm a hoarder, but we do want to acknowledge if hoarding is something that we are dealing with, this could be a time where it really comes up. I honestly think, Jupiter and Taurus can make people hoard. So just be cautious with that. Okay. But it could also help you. It could find some valuable antiques also. Now, the hoarding too, just to make sure I cover this is, come on, y'all. We know that hoarding um, is emotional. It takes healing. So, maybe you're going to be able to get some guidance on that with Jupiter retrograde. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of point out when I think uh Jupiter is going to be the most off. I actually think that Jupiter retrograde is going to be pretty beneficial, pretty giving. Okay. Um, so it's already connected with the sun on Friday, September the 8th. I would love to know, did you get some insight? Did something really inspirational happen to you on Friday, September the 8th? It could have been the 7th or the 9th, but definitely there's or some opportunity came back your way. I would love to know about that. Could be through the 10th too, because I did have some perspective coming to me today. Okay. So down here on September the 17th. So let's just say we're going to say from the 15th through the 18th of September, Jupiter is going to be what is called square Venus. Now, this is where things could get a little bit jiggy. It could really be like, I'm just doing too much. I've overindulged. It could be you have to take some action, but in the end, you will find that you have manifested something, and it'll be an opportunity that's coming back to you. Okay. Now, this one actually could be where the self-worth, self-value topic comes up, just because of where Venus is. But, Venus and Jupiter are the benefic planets. And so typically they're going to bring a gift of some sort, but it'll be a gift that's coming back to you. All right. So, yeah, it's a little bit tricky, you know, it's a little bit tricky, but in the end, I think it'll work for everybody. So let's see here. This is October, and I don't have them all memory. Okay, I knew there was something. So it's once we get later into October. So the first part of October, things will be pretty chill with Jupiter retrograde. It'll just kind of be like, you know, it's kind of like this subtle way of just really driving home the lesson. Maybe it'll be you just kind of get interested in studying some wisdom text or something like that, or you just kind of feel like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I feel inspired to sit down and work on my finances. And you just kind of do it every day, every day, every day. That's kind of how the retrograde works. Um, and then once we get to the end of October into the top of November is when things really kind of start getting crazy, because the month of October is retrograde time. I mean, eclipse time. Okay. So we're going to have an eclipse on the 14th, and then we're going to have an eclipse on the 28th. And the eclipse on the 28th, that same day, Mars and Jupiter are bumping heads. All right. They're just like, let's do this. Jupiter is probably talking smack. Mars is probably just trying to like headbutt Jupiter. This thing is incredible. What we're going to witness with Jupiter and Mars um, on a lunar eclipse. And so, excuse me, a lunar eclipse in Taurus. So that's when we'll kind of like we will definitely be looking at some changes, some transformation we need to make, something that needs to be released. And it's kind of like Jupiter's like, I told you to let this go. You didn't let it go. Mars is like, kind of like pressuring you to take some action, because that's what Mars is, take action. But it'll kind of come through and you'll see it in an opposing way. Maybe somebody kind of is like, let me tell you about yourself, right? Or you'll just see the results of something is way, way out of balance. And it could actually have to do with money, but every astrology is always working for you. Okay. Astrology is always working for you. So we notice that we're out of balance in order to bring things into balance. And same here, Mercury oppositioning Jupiter is gonna just it's gonna really and truly be probably like a lot of mental chatter going on about our money, about our healing, our self-care, some transformation that we need to make. And it'll be something that you've actually been working on over the last about 1.5 years, about a year and a half. So the end of Jupiter, I mean, end of October, I think that this Jupiter energy can get a little bit challenging. Okay. And then we're going to have the sun oppositioning Jupiter. So it's just like a lot of highlights around what's out of balance. Could feel like there's a lot of pressure on you. You're trying to figure out what you want to do versus what everybody else wants you to do. And it could be like this voice in your head that is kind of like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And you're just struggling with, that versus what other people are saying you need to do. So that's where I see it being the roughest. But then once I started looking in November, once we get past that first week in November, yeah, for sure the first few days, even into December, it just looks pretty doggone good. Okay, and so then Jupiter goes direct on December the 30th, which I like that because at least Jupiter's direct when the new year starts. So that's a nice touch. Now, Jupiter is going to go retrograde from, oh, dang, I forgot. I know it's going to go back to the 15th. So it started retrograde at the 15th degree of Taurus. Now, if people are listening who know astrology, if you have planets at 15 degrees to 5 degrees of Taurus, of Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, this can be a little bit of a rough transit, transformational transit. You're really being asked to continue to make some changes or go in a new direction that you all have been working on. So this may not be super fun for y'all. Okay, it'll feel intense for the Tauruses who have any planets, or anyone who has planets from 15 to 5 degrees of Taurus. It'll feel like pressure for anyone who has planets 15 to 5 degrees of Scorpio. And then it'll be more of like you are pushed to take action for the Aquariuses and the Leos. So if you are Virgo or Capricorn, you will love this transit. Because this can bring you a lot of abundance, a lot of opportunity, some good fortune, healing. This will really work for Virgos and Capricorns. And if you are Pisces, no, yeah, Pisces and I said Virgo, and Cancerians, this will be a supportive transit for you. You will like this transit. Okay. You will really, really like this transit. Um, for the fire signs outside of, that's going to be Aries and Sag. This will kind of have you focused on making money or your lifestyle. Okay. You'll need to be a little bit more, yeah, making money in your lifestyle. Okay. And then if you are air signs, then for air signs, this is going to be more of like this internal work. Some of the air signs might feel a little emotional and dislike that. Okay. You may not like that emotion. But it definitely is that internal work that a retrograde is about. It's more about that for you all. So um once Jupiter goes direct, then it's time to integrate everything that we have been working on with Jupiter since May, honestly. And so what I want to tell y'all is this is an opportunity that won't come back around for 12 years. And so I just encourage you to um, take advantage of this energy of abundance and manifestation that Jupiter and Taurus will bring us. Don't waste this opportunity. Take advantage of this opportunity. One last thing that I'll share is that Jupiter in Taurus, or Jupiter is a social planet. And so, Jupiter has to do with the law. And so it's laws regarding what? Taurus things, money, the earth, anything that has to do with storage and material possessions. Jupiter is going to be bringing up these topics. So, no question, Jupiter retrograde, there's going to be talk about money in society. I don't know if, I don't want to speak anything about people not having enough money, but it definitely could be where we kind of feel like our money is off. We don't have as much money as we want or something like that. But it also has to do with banks. And so it could be bringing up topics around banking. I just like to share this with you all. So when you see it, you don't think anything is wrong. No, Jupiter's just doing his job. And it could be that Jupiter, like some court decisions are going to come down because that's what Jupiter is, court decisions around banking and finance. Um, Also something around the earth, we might start hearing more about the climate. Now, that Uranus that was down there in on the chart with Jupiter, my gosh, is Jupiter is not that far from Uranus. And so when I heard about that earthquake in Morocco, I was like, "Oh my god, as an astrologer, I don't like reporting negative things. I really don't, but it's like so obvious. Uranus is shaking up the earth because it's in Taurus. So wherever Uranus is, it's a shakeup that happens. It's like shocks and electricity and all of that. So um, you know, that's something, but thankfully, well, they're both moving retrograde now, but Jupiter will move away from Taurus even more, so hopefully, we won't hear so much about that, but it's extreme weather. Everybody's talking about the extreme weather. And remember, I told you, Jupiter will make things go big. So if we had a little bit of extreme weather, we got a whole lot of it now. And Uranus is there making stuff extreme too. So it's a lot of talk about the earth and extreme weather. I think that we could potentially, maybe if there were some topics around saving the earth, it's going to come back, but maybe we'll start getting more governments or, laws that are put into place to protect the earth. And then let's see here. It's about food. So food can become like a really major topic. And, maybe we're going to be hearing more about obesity and diabetes and, um, health, any health issues and topics. And the reason I'm bringing those up, I know people don't like the negative spin on things, but you have to remember Taurus is like this sign is going to eat, and it's going to eat decadent. It's going to eat sugar. It's going to eat, like the best foods. And it doesn't matter if it's healthy or not, even though Taurus can actually be extremely healthy, it could be extremely decadent too. And so, it's about health and well-being and what we're eating. And so, Jupiter being in Taurus, it could just really bring out problems, health problems related to anything that has to do with eating. So I'm just saying diabetes because diabetes is definitely for those who don't have type 1. Type 2 diabetes is related to food. So, but we can get clarity on that. We can begin to say, well, let me go find a doctor or some health expert who can teach me about how to take care of my health and well-being. And again, y'all, I just think, let's see here. Let me keep it on the social level. On the social level, it really could be something about stuff, like our stuff and spending money, topics coming up about that. Okay. Taurus. Anything else about Taurus that I want to tell y'all? Um, it's an artsy sign. It has to do with a little bit with fashion, to be honest with you, makeup. So those industries could really see, even if it feels like money is a little bit slower, it's slowing down so you can like maybe bring in some new modalities and then it'll speed back up again. Hairstylists, makeup, people who do people's makeup, all of that could be coming up. Those are professions, people who work in banking. Even if it feels like you don't like this banking job or you wanted a new one or something with a banking position, um, once it could be a retrograde because maybe you need to get some things in order. And then when Jupiter goes direct, then you'll find that things are working better for you if you're working in the banking industry. It could be librarians. Oh, here's a good one. Taurus has to do with libraries. I was like, what is going on with all this talk about libraries? So Taurus is libraries, is anything that it holds collections. It's a collection of anything. And so I think that maybe laws will start coming around that do better, at least here in the United States, to protect librarians. Um, so that was interesting when I came up with I was like, "What is going on?" So Uranus is just creating all this havoc with the librarians, but I think that Jupiter being there is supporting the librarians, where the librarians are speaking out. They're fighting back against these laws that are coming to them. Maybe some laws will be repealed. Something will happen to help libraries. Um, Maybe even we're gonna start feeling like we need more books on shelves. We don't want to just digitize all books. We definitely want handheld books. Um, Let me see here. I'm trying to think of anything else I've seen in the news that I could bring up as a social topic. Yes. Okay. So glad y'all are here. Thank y'all so much. I hope that this has been helpful. Chanel, still learning. Sharmika, beautiful, powerful love. Barbara, hope that this has been helpful to you all and wishing you all a beautiful Jupiter retrograde. And yeah, lots of abundance of all things that you want in your life. Just speaking that into y'all's lives with this transit. All right. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate it when y'all give me a thumbs up, share the video with others. I love to hear from you. Comments. What are your takeaways? Love that. And yeah, have a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Peace and love.